Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just coming over to XRP. Once again, thank you for support. Okay, big of the CoinsKid crews who have done incredibly well on XRP. I've not sold my XRP at the moment. Okay, I have took profit on longs and shorts. This is what I do. I trade the ranges. I'll go long, I'll go short, and things like that as I spot little micro time frame trades, which I post in the Discord right there, and obviously including the videos when I can and on Twitter and things like that. I will always look for them opportunities. But my big macro move, my big spot position that I bought way back there, in the, I think it was July, wasn't it? We tagged that buy zone. It was a beautiful buy zone. We tagged that and we've been coming up. I'm not selling my XRP yet, okay? And like I said to you, if we do start to create bearish market structure in the price action, then I'll jump ship at that particular point. But at the minute, I'm holding on for dear life because I actually think there's a technical target here for XRP, then it's in, and equally there's a final fifth wave missing of an impulse. Whether or not that's a 1 into a 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth, time will tell. But at the minute, one thing to keep an eye on is on the macro here, on the macro grid, you can clearly see, look how overextended XRP is to everything else. It's bullish, 75.5% above its bull market support band on CoinsKid.com. There's not many coins going down the list that are the same. So XRP, like I said to you, way back when, for those people that remember, it was in the floor, it was buy warning on the macro. I kept relaying this to you. I've created this index for you. It's an amazing opportunity on this impulse that's coming. There are lots of opportunities. If you go to CoinsKid.com on the macro grid, there was buy warnings on these particular indicators basically. And XRP, you'd had something like Bitcoin had pushed up, all these other coins, and XRP was down there in the floor. And I said to you, in time, I expect XRP to be overextended. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. If you look at this bar here on CoinsKid.com, I think that once this fills up like this is equally part of my confluence of, okay, this is my get out of XRP card right there. So I'll keep your data as best I can, but if you are looking for that data, definitely head to the CoinsKid.com website and get involved. So I'll go through everything I'm looking at with yourselves in the market, unless obviously the structure of the price action tells me otherwise. Everything I'm looking at and a theory as to when I do think that this impulse that's coming and brewing for the crypto markets will finish. So I'll go through that with you in today's video. Okay, so there's some key data points that I'm keeping an eye on, and I will relay to you them as and when I see them, and that's my exit strategy right there. Obviously, price action is boss. That is the thing that's going to tell me prior to the data if it starts to roll over and creates bearish market structure, so on and so forth. I will react to that price structure and I'll relay that to you. But so far so good, amazing, absolutely amazing for XRP. It's bolted as expected. I did say to you many years, I think there's a vertical wave here. I think we're in a vertical. Once this compression, the release, the pressure, boom, it'll absolutely take off, and it absolutely did. So let me dive into all the data points I'm looking at. One, firstly, is on CoinsKid.com. It's the CKR. So the CKR is boss. The data over everything at the moment. We've got this beautiful index right now. The CKR currently sitting around about 77. I'm looking for this, and there's no bias. Obviously, anything can happen, but I'm looking for this to get really overextending this bull market for Bitcoin and obviously altcoins, and with that, XRP will follow suit. I'm looking for this to get into this red zone here, push above 90, and then I'll start to say, okay, I'm preparing to exit my, this market, and I'll relay that to you. But obviously, I need to see a little bit more confidence in many other things and many data points instead of just jumping ship and declaring this is the top, because there's so many things that I'm looking at. So pay attention to all the data points I'm going to look at. There's so many. I do need to make a bullet point list and put it on this website, so you can check it yourself. I will try and do that soon, and we'll just put the top signals, what we're looking for, archive them, and just look for all of those to stack up. And the more that tick the box, the more you've increased the probability, okay, this is the top. So at the minute, I don't see any reason other than the retail top indicator triggered way back there in November that we have seen a top here in this crypto cycle for Bitcoin. So I'm going to show you another thing in a chart today that will add confluence of fact, okay, we're looking at some kind of top in, some kind of big impulse into this time frame. So I'll go through that with you in a minute. But the CKR is really good. Went dark green all the way back there. Look at that. We're comping a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup in, I think it was April, March last year, wasn't it? I was looking at 5-wave move up from the bottom in September of 2023. We got the 5 waves up. At this point, everyone got extremely bullish, but I did say to you, I'm bearish. I'm looking for a macro correction. Everyone's going to get shaken out. Everyone's going to think we've entered a bear market, but all it is a wave 4 correction, and it's been represented in CKR. And this is something I said to you, if this was the end of the bull run, which is what a lot of analysts and YouTubers and Twitter guys and people and comments on the channel were saying, that the bull run's over, we would have seen something in the CKR. Really simple. You would have seen a sharp drop, which is what you see at every top impulse here in the CKR, a big sharp drop. Okay, and we never seen that. We've seen overlapping corrective waves, some kind of flag opportunity. Like I said to you, the overlapping corrective waves is structural correction after an impulse, after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup from September last year into March last year. Boom, we've got that overlapping corrective wave. And at the moment, if you take a look, we've come out the traps here. In August, we bottom, come up in a 1, 2, we've had a 3. Right now we're going for some kind of 4, possibly zigzag flat or whatever. I'll look at that in the charts with you, Bitcoin today. But at some point, I think this will turn around and we've got a final fifth wave missing. At that point, you're going to see the CKR flourish and you're going to see it overextended, come up to the red zone above 90. If we can get as far as that real dark red zone, 98, 99 plus, then that again is confidence. Okay, I'm walking away from this market, just giving the data point. So what is the other data point? I'll show you the other data point on CoinsKid.com in the indicators section. It's called the sell the effing rip. Let me go through that with you quickly before I do dive into a couple of charts to our confidence list. Big fifth wave missing for Bitcoin, and obviously with that XRP will follow suit. So the other indicator is the sell the effing rip, STFR. It's on CoinsKid.com in the indicators section. We've got the opposite of that. I'll show you that quickly. This is buy the effing dip. Basically, if you take a look, this is absolutely nailed on. In August of this year, we bought the dip. Look at that beautiful, nice little buy zone on this green line. And how accurate is this particular indicator? Well, let's go back. You can clearly see, look at that in November of 2022 right there. It tagged the buy the dip line. It equally tagged it in the summer, in June 18th, which is where obviously we jumped into XRP at that particular time frame. And if we go back even further, you've got the bottom just there in March, the Corona dump. Look at that beautiful buy zone. Wouldn't have felt like it at the time, but it clearly was. And if we go back here as well, you've got the bottom down there tagging all this in December and November of 2018 right there. A beautiful opportunity on Bitcoin. So far so good. This particular buy the effing dip is absolutely ringing true. Again, come to CoinsKid.com, indicator section, buy the effing dip, and in time as we roll over, because don't be disillusioned, we will, this will be a great little indicator to follow suit, just to buy the dip basically. So let's take a quick look at this sell the effing rip, which is the opposite of buy the effing dip. So basically what we've got here, every time this green line starts to turn around, you can clearly see it is, okay, we sort of come down in the summer last year, bottomed, and we're starting to turn around right now. If this starts to go vertical with the Bitcoin price, with the other extension and the greed, and FOMO in the market, this should come up in theory relatively quickly to this red line that represents the sell the effing, sell the effing rip, get out of Bitcoin card right there. So April 2021, and equally just there in December 2017, a really good time to jump out of Bitcoin at that particular time, with a little bit of rotation obviously into them altcoins. So let me show you a couple of charts right now that I'm looking at to keep an eye on as well for my exit strategy on XRP. So looking at Bitcoin dominance chart, like I said to you, I think this chart holds a clue, and it's part of the confidence analysis that we would see this big vertical in the XRP chart. I was showing you this against herd mentality. I got a lot of negative statements and comments and things like that, but what I think we've got here is a cheat sheet that basically from this vertical here, which is basically this vertical line, each green vertical line is your halving date for Bitcoin. Okay, at that point what you look at is basically roughly about 30 weeks after the halving date in each cycle, we do start to see some kind of trigger point for an alt season to begin, or a big push up in XRP. And this is something I was showing you. So literally around about 30, I think 32, 33 weeks after the halving date, what happens? XRP broke out. Okay, and it's here, you got your halving date roughly 30 weeks after. What happens is that, we approach that sort of timeline, boom, we get the big breakout, and lo and behold, look at that, it's doing exactly the same again. And this is part of the confidence analysis that we would see that big push up in XRP. So I was showing you a trend line on the Bitcoin dominance. So we've got this rising channel just there in the Bitcoin dominance, accompanied with the bearish divergence, where we've got a higher low pivot, lower high pivot, sorry, in the RSI, but a higher high pivot in the index right there. So we've got a massive bearish divergence, and this was part of my confidence right on cue on that neckline just there, that we would see a major push up in XRP and a lot of these altcoins, and that's exactly what we've done. Okay, so going forward, I think we need to see equally another thing in this particular chart that will add confidence. Okay, we've got a massive vertical here in the altcoins, and especially XRP. And I'm eyeballing the invalidation. The invalidation is really simple. If we start to see the dominance break out here and starts to come up with the Bitcoin price, then we've not quite hit that big vertical in the alt season just yet. So I'm keeping an eye on it, because there's no bias here at the moment. For me, what this looks like is a drop where we've seen the initial pop for XRP, and with that we've seen just a small drop in the dominance, and right now this is correcting back up to this drop down. Okay, so if it starts to turn around and loses this line here, which is roughly 54.49%, I think it's the same as that there, and you've got this massive drop towards this zone here, and you'll have this massive drop towards this zone here. So there's a little bit of confidence right there that if we take a look at the previous cycle here, from this halving date, okay, to what I think is the top of an impulse, which was roughly April and May of 2021, where we did see a big correction begin. If we take a look, you know, it was roughly, what is that, around about 52 bars, 52 weeks, 364 days after the halving date, we got the trigger point for a massive sell-off in XRP. The yellow line just there is XRP. So I'm not saying it's going to do it again, but just using a little bit of chart theory, you know, looking at previous cycles and things like that. What is 364 days after the halving date? If we go from left to right, 364 days roughly puts us around about Monday the 14th of April. So if I drop a horizontal line in, a vertical line in, sorry, that could be, if we do, and it is a big if as well, if we do start to see the Bitcoin dominance roll over and we do start to see a lot of these altcoins break out, then it could just simply be a case of just kicking back, waiting for this dominance to get down to this zone here, possibly this zone here as well, around about 48.87%, and this trend line here, some kind of confidence at that particular level on that time frame. That's it. You know, we've done what we've done before, where at this point XRP entered that major crash and correction, you know, so we see a bit of a flourish for XRP, starts to come up. As this starts to come down and the dominance is leading the way into alt season and the vertical for altcoins, then at this time frame here, around about the 14th of April, if it is just rinse repeat, you know, we're doing exactly what we've done before, that could actually be the trigger point for a top. But obviously I want to see what's happening in the data structure with XRP as well, what is happening in that particular time frame. And that is all about if we do start to see the dominance rolling over. So we keep an eye on that, because I do think if we do start to do something like this and the dominance breaks out and Bitcoin's breaking out, then this time frame can be, you know, be scrapped. And at that point we're in a bigger cycle and a longer cycle and actually anticipate we could have some kind of trigger point up there, and then we roll, which obviously is later in the year that we see the big alt season. So keep an eye on that. I think the dominance is a clue going forward as to the future of this particular crypto market, because once we see the big drop, that is your end phase, and this is something we don't quite see yet. So I don't necessarily think that this bull market's over, simply just looking at the Bitcoin dominance. But obviously I've not got a crystal ball. My primary at the moment is the fact it's simple. We've had the drop, which is your initial pop. We're having a correction like this. This should drop towards this zone here, and that triggers the end of the bull market for me. We're looking roughly around about April time, and that would be beautiful if we see that, okay? And obviously I'm looking for the invalidation. I think one of the key things we need to pay attention to really is simple. It's the Bitcoin dominance to invalidate that theory. So is there any other chart right now that I'm looking at that, you know, we've been looking at so successfully, that's been the whole clue to this big violent move for XRP? Is there any other chart that is telling us, okay, we've got a big move in front of us with the alignment of the data eventually to tell us we're out of this market? There is one other chart. It's the S&P 500. Let me show you right now. So looking at S&P 500 then, against herd mentality, against the naysayers, I remember relaying this S&P 500, how bullish I was on this, okay, and how bullish this makes me on risk, which is obviously XRP and Bitcoin. And I've been showing you for many years, and there have been many comments on the channel. You know, blockchain backers bearish. He said the S&P 500 is not going to make all-time highs. He's bearish. You know, what does that do for XRP and what does that do for Bitcoin, so on and so forth? But like I said to you, I would ignore that analysis. I think he's wrong. I think this is actually bullish. I think that this was just merely a corrective phase of a cycle, as is XRP. You know, we've got this ABC here, we've got this ABCD here, and right there, right on cue in January of 2023, we've got the breakout, and I relay to you right on cue with a pullback for XRP as well. I'm incredibly bullish here. I'm taking opportunity, and we rode that first impulsive wave to the 1.618. We've got the flagging, overlapping corrective price structure coming back, and then we've got the big vertical third wave, and it was represented within the S&P 500 because the king of risk was front running and leading the way. Okay, so this had to be bullish. The S&P 500 has to be bullish if we are expecting, you know, the minnows of risk, which is Bitcoin and XRP, to be bullish as well. So I've been showing this chart for a very long time, and it is still part of my analysis that once this chart breaks down, once it looks bearish and it begins to create bearish market structure or massive corrective market structure, equally I'll become bearish on, you know, the minnows of risk, which is basically XRP, your Bitcoin, so on and so forth. So the S&P 500, the king of risk, is playing out like an absolute boss. I think what we've done here, we've got this breakout, back test of the 1.618. That was a target I was giving you all the way down here when we broke out because it was the next impulsive wave target. We've rode this wave. It's been absolutely amazing. This chart has been part of my confidence analysis for a very long time, that we would see this big vertical for XRP, and all of this was just merely opportunity, okay? And I kept relaying that to you. And against the herd mentality, the comments and naysayers, blockchain backer says this and blockchain backer says that, and Alessio Rastani says we're in a bear market on the S&P 500 and so on and so forth. I kept showing you and countering that analysis, okay? you know, against herd mentality. But so far, here we are. So I'm waiting for this to flip bearish before I flip bearish on XRP. Really, really simple. It's part of confluence analysis. So what is this chart doing? So we'll keep an eye on this, because obviously this will invalidate my theory. But what I'm looking at right now is a pullback into the 1.618 after breaking out, and then a continuation here to the 2 fib around about 6634, where at that point, what happens? Do we roll into the bear market at that point? Okay, is that the trigger point for a bear market? Possibly. If it is, that's it. Boom. Part of the confluence analysis, all out of XRP. So stay tuned, keep an eye on the S&P 500. But like I relayed to you way back in January, when XRP was pulling back into that sweet spot, this was a beautiful golden opportunity because of the clue of the S&P 500. Go back to the videos in 2023 right there, against herd mentality, the depression, the blood, the fear, depression. I said to you, I'm buying XRP, and I expect that big impulse of 1.618 around about 82 cents before we get that macro correction flagging back. Look at that, boom, see you later. But this S&P 500 was always the clue that we would get this, and I've been relaying this to you for a very, very long time right now. So again, we have to respect this chart massively, more than any chart, because I think this minute, when this breaks down into a bear market, that is when XRP is in a bear market as well. Okay, let me dive into the XRP chart with yourselves right now to see what we can see. So quickly, before we do dive into the XRP chart with yourselves, we are looking to get our community takeover coin Fartboy listed. We're on talks with many exchanges at the moment. We've took over this coin. We've got someone that's in charge of the Telegram, someone that's in charge of the Twitter. We've got someone developing a game. We've got many exchanges contacting us left, right and centre, trying to get this listed first. So there's a bit of a fight going on. We are in talks with a certain exchange right now, taking this particular coin on. It's an amazing project. We've basically bought this up off the floor. What I'd identified last week was really simple. So basically this coin came out, Fartboy, as you're fully aware, meme coins are very volatile. This came out like this, and then what happened is the developer sniped everyone, basically. He rug pulled everyone that held it, you know. So a lot of people were affected by that, and the developer walked away with lots of money in his pocket. But at this point, this is where I looked at the charts, looked at the tokenomics, seen that it had already been rug pulled and already been, you know, basically sniped. So I thought, you know, this could be an opportunity for myself and the CoinsKid crew, because this has already been rug pulled. Okay, the developer has got no coins left, he's gone, he's disappeared, you know, and people are just left holding the bag basically. So at this point I thought, you know, this is an opportunity for myself and the CoinsKid crew. I relayed that in the Discord right now, and then from that moment right there, look at that, we're up a whopping 129,000%. So it's incredible, you know. So I'm not looking to sell my Fartboy anytime soon. And again, I didn't go all in, I didn't go crazy money, I just put a little bit of money in there, money I can afford to lose, like I've always relayed to you on these meme coins. But so far so good. This particular coin is absolutely taking off. It's getting a lot of traction, so we're getting a lot of contacts from various exchanges trying to list this first. There's a bit of a scrap going on, you know, and we're really supporting this coin. You know, it's a community takeover coin. There's an actual section on the Discord which we've opened up. If you want to jump into that section, it's a Fartboy community that's absolutely brewing up right now. So we keep coming. If I was looking at the charts, we keep coming up, consulting the range, breakout, consulting the range. So we should be looking at some kind of breakout, you know, continuation here, because this right now, I think it's gone up into the 10 million market cap, and we were all the way down there at around about, I think we got in at around about 8k market cap. So that's been a beautiful, you know, moment for myself and the CoinsKid crew in this particular bull market. So like I've said to you in so many videos, you know, if we are where I think we are, then this particular time frame, this is where millionaires are made from meme coins. Okay, not necessarily anymore from XRP, because from here, if it goes to $9, $12, whatever, it's 3-4x. So at this point, this is where, if we are in the latter stage of the market where I think we are, then this is where the opportunity is. And this is all I'm trying to do, is relay opportunity to you. I'm not trying to scam you or rip you off or dump on you or anything like that. You know, I'm just trying to provide opportunity in this channel, and this is what I do on a daily basis. Try and make as much money for my followers as I possibly can. So that's just a little update on Fartboy going forward. Let's dive into the XRP chart right now to see what we can see. So looking at XRP on the daily time frame, for those people who have been on the channel for a very long time, they will know and remember how bullish I flipped on that pivot point there, because, you know, from here, which was a buyback, it was a beautiful buyback of 5 waves. Look at this. Okay, we've got the 1 into the 2 into the waterfall 3 into the 4 into the 5. So we bossed that 5-wave counter. From there, with the confluence of the S&P 500, I said to you, I think we're in a massive impulse here, and I'm looking for this zone here around about 82 cents for the first impulse to get to, and it was on all the thumbnails, and we tagged it. And the reason is, if you go from your previous 5-wave move down, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 wave down, then all you got to do for the first impulsive wave is target at 1.618, and I've taught you this. Okay, so from that previous pivot point, which was basically ABC coming back up, then you got the final 5th wave down, 1 2 3 4 5. This was actually the end of the correction. This was a truncation of the end of a macro correction, which was an ABC zigzag that had started in, I think it was April, wasn't it, of 2021. A, B, C, and within this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 truncation. And this is something I relayed to you. This is a golden opportunity because we see 5 waves down here. It's the same golden opportunity I relayed to you at the bottom of this correction. Okay, really simple. It's called the 5-wave counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We was all in there, and this is something I relayed to you. So I'll go through this with you, and this is why I do remain bullish on XRP at the moment until I start to see a little bit more structural data that suggests otherwise. Okay, so really simple. From this low here, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we've got the flagging wave 2. So this 5-wave move up, go back to the videos, I said to you, all of this overlapping corrective wave is opportunity. Okay, and I remember all the naysayers were still caught in the mind that we are still in the correction, things like that, but I said to you, you've got to respect the 5 waves. You always, if you see 5 waves coming up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you start flagging back like this is opportunity. It's called a bull pennant, a bull flag, or whatever. You just retrace into where you come from. Okay, really simple. So on the micro, on the daily time frame, beautiful, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that was a bullish impulse that meant at 1.618, and then part of that was at this point here, I did put on the thumbnails, I think we've had a 1 here. This is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 4, and this is a 5. Now this 5 will tag the 1.618 of the previous push down, because that's your push, this is your previous pivot of a drop basically, and you come up in 5 waves to the 1.618. That's exactly what we did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this drawdown, I was relaying opportunity. This drawdown was relaying opportunity. But at this point, I did say to you, I expect a bigger macro correction there, a pullback. It's going to get nasty. Everyone's going to think we're in a bear market. But all we're doing, respectfully, is the same as what we did there, the same as what we did there. But this is bigger. This is a macro retracement to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at that point, all you've got to do is go from the top of the run, which is basically there, go to the bottom from where you've come, and what you're doing is really simply, you've come up in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're retracing back down to where you came from, which is basically a 1 fib. So at this point, this is why I was relaying to you, I think there's opportunity down here on the 786 fib, look at that, and that's exactly where XRP nailed on $1.01. But there was confidence in that particular analysis of that target being met in that correction, because there was a God candle backtest just there, for anyone who remembers. So as we came up here in April last year, okay, all overlapping corrective price structure and the waves, really nasty, really horrible. I know it is, it's not nice, it's boring and things like that, you know, but I said to you the same thing here. We've got this flag coming back, overlapping corrective price structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, overlapping, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, overlapping. This is just a macro version of this. Okay, so this is where we are, and this is why with the confluence of the S&P 500, I kept relaying to you against herd mentality that all these drawdowns are opportunity, because eventually we will do something like we did there, the big third wave breakout, the third wave breakout. So this is where I think we are. I think we're in this third wave coming up, and it's really hard to say, okay, it's over, it's done, we're in a wave 4 and things like that. But this is where I think we are. I think we're in the third wave, and we've got, you know, a drop and then a fourth and a fifth, and at that point, you know, just like this big macro move up to the 1.618, we should be done. So like I've relayed to you, the 2.618 is always a target for me of a third wave. Okay, so I'll go through this with you as best I can. The 2.618 is always a target for me in a big third wave. Now, whether or not we've had the 4 here and we're coming to 5 and we entered the bear market at that time, I don't know. No one knows. No one's got a crystal ball. But what I do think we've got here is an opportunity still, because from this bottom here, when we retrace this 5-wave impulse, and I hope you're staying with me, this is just simple Elliott wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, overlapping corrective wave coming back, which is basically a flag, zigzaggy waves, and then just like the end of this correction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opportunity, we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opportunity, right in the 786 and the God candle back test, really simple. At that point, we've seen again the first 5-wave move up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was a monster move, just like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this was an expanded flat correction. We've bolted. This is a zigzag correction, and right now we're coming up. So it could simply be that this is actually a third wave right now that XRP's in. So this is a 1 into a 2 into a 3. Okay, absolutely possible. So with the third wave, you're basically where you were there. Okay, so you should have some kind of 4 pullback and then go again. So that's what I'm looking at until I'm not. Okay, and obviously I'm looking for the structure and things like that, and many data points to tell me that we're over. So this is why I do remain bullish. But if you take a look from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now we are in 5-wave territory for XRP. We've got increased probability that this next move to the upside, we will incur a big correction that comes back, and then we'll go again. And that's what I'm looking at. So basically my minimal target is a 2.618 with a technical target around about $3.96 with the overshoot to $4. At that point, I think there's an increased probability of a correction there. It doesn't mean the bull market's over. It means we could possibly go through some kind of correction, okay, some kind of wave forward correction before the final 5th wave out of there. And from this bottom, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup. That's it. That's your impulse done from this bottom here in January 2023. With the confluence of data stacking up, Bitcoin being overextended, CKR, you know, the S&P 500 potentially in that 2 fib and things like that. We just need to see how the stars and how the charts are aligned at that particular point. So that's my analysis at the minute. I think what we've got, this here is your third wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your third wave, which may be nearing completion. Some sideways consolidation wave 4, and then boom, we bolt in a final 5th wave, possibly to the 3 fib, you know, if not above. So I'll keep updated on that as best I can, but so far so good. You know, we're crushing this market. I don't necessarily think we've entered a bear market at this particular point with the confluence and data that I'm looking at across the chart. So at the moment, no bias. I think what we've come up with is a bull pennant here. We're consolidating the range back to see you later. I actually think we're in a technical target to the 2.618 with the overshoot to the $4, and I just want to see what XRP does at that point. Does a big correction begin at that point? Because if it does, you know, you will be retracing to this low here. Okay, so from that low there, we can go from the potential $4 target all the way down. You could be looking at a small correction, roughly 236, around about $2.31, or even a deeper correction. Who knows? No one's got a crystal ball, but at the minute, I do think XRP is bullish going forward. Okay, and that's all I'm, you know, focusing on. I'm looking for that bear market signal, which I just don't see yet. Hope you understand that update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Take care, everyone. Back to another day in XRP. Bye bye.